What if I told you that overthinking isn't deep thinking, but distorted thinking? That what feels like figuring it out might actually be fueling your anxiety? Aaron T. Beck, the father of cognitive therapy, discovered something radical. The thoughts we trust the most are often the ones that trap us. If you've ever caught yourself stuck in your head, running through every possible scenario, every what if, every past mistake, you're not alone. Overthinking feels productive, like you're getting closer to a solution. But what if it's actually pulling you further away? In today's video, we're going to explore a different angle. We'll unpack why overthinking isn't just a bad habit. It's a type of cognitive distortion. That means your mind isn't just working overtime, it's warping the way you see reality, and that's where the real danger lies. To make sense of this, we'll turn to the work of Dr. Aaron Beck, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century and the founder of cognitive therapy. Beck didn't just help people feel better, he helped them think better. We'll break down 3 of his key insights into how the mind distorts, loops, and traps us in anxious thought patterns. But we won't stop at theory. We'll also walk through a simple, practical method that you can start using today, something to help you catch overthinking in the moment and gently step out of it before it spirals out of control. This isn't about shutting your mind off. It's about learning to work with it. Let's get into it. Aaron Beck didn't set out to revolutionize psychology. In fact, he began as a traditional psychoanalyst, trained to help people explore childhood memories and uncover repressed emotions. But something about the process wasn't adding up. His patients weren't having breakthroughs. They weren't arriving at life-changing insights about their past. Instead, they seemed trapped, circling the same worries, rehearsing the same fears, reanalyzing the same situations over and over. Beck began to notice a pattern. Their suffering wasn't rooted in distant childhood experiences. It was coming from the thoughts they were having right now. Thoughts that felt automatic, intrusive, and overwhelmingly negative. He called them automatic negative thoughts, or ANTS. These weren't slow, thoughtful reflections. They were instant reactions, emotional reflexes that popped up and took over before you could even catch them. This, Beck realized, is what overthinking often is. It's not a sign of depth. It's not problem-solving. It's mental static, a repetitive inner monologue that feels convincing, but rarely brings clarity. You might think you're working through something, but more often than not, you're just wearing yourself out. Instead of offering answers, overthinking floods your mind with hypotheticals, assumptions, and worst-case scenarios. It replaces clarity with confusion, peace with tension, and the more you feed it, the stronger it grows. Beck captured this with one simple, yet profound idea. The way we think about events determines how we feel. If your thinking is distorted, even subtly, your emotions will mirror that distortion. So when you're stuck in a loop of overthinking, it's not because you're broken or too sensitive. It's because your mind is reacting automatically, and those reactions are shaping your reality. Breaking free starts with recognizing the loop for what it is, not insight, but illusion. To really understand why overthinking feels so overwhelming, we have to look beneath the surface of our thoughts. Aaron Beck, the father of cognitive therapy, identified 3 powerful ideas that reveal why the mind often works against us, especially when we're stressed or anxious. These aren't just theories. They're patterns we all experience. First, automatic thoughts. These are the quick, snap judgments that pop into your head without your permission. You don't sit down and think them through. They just appear. You send a message and don't get a reply for a few hours. Suddenly, a voice in your head says, "They're ignoring me. I must have said something wrong." That thought feels real. But here's the thing. It isn't necessarily true. It's just a mental reflex, shaped by past experiences, fears, or insecurities. And unless you pause and question it, you'll react as if it's a fact. Second, cognitive distortions. This is where overthinking really tightens its grip. Beck uncovered a variety of thinking errors we all fall into. There's catastrophizing, imagining the worst-case scenario, mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking, and all-or-nothing thinking, where things are either perfect or a total failure. These distortions exaggerate threats and shrink your sense of control, turning everyday moments into high-stakes dramas. Third, the thought-emotion-behavior cycle. Beck's most important insight was this: your thoughts directly shape how you feel, and those feelings guide your actions. Say you overanalyze a text, start feeling anxious, and then avoid socializing. That withdrawal leads to loneliness and more anxious thoughts. It becomes a self-reinforcing loop. But here's the hopeful part. If you interrupt the thought, you can change the whole cycle. That's where real freedom begins, not by stopping thoughts, but by seeing them clearly. So how do we actually break the stubborn cycle of overthinking? One of the most practical and accessible tools Beck developed is called the 3-column technique. It's incredibly simple to use anytime, anywhere, yet powerful enough to fundamentally shift the way you relate to your thoughts and, ultimately, your feelings. It's a structured way to apply that detective mindset we talked about earlier. Here's a straightforward breakdown of how it works. Column 1. The trigger. What happened? You start by identifying the trigger or situation that set off your mental reaction. This is the external event, no matter how small it seems. It could be something like not getting a reply to a message you sent, or simply noticing that someone didn't smile back at you. The key is to pinpoint the exact moment or situation that led to your internal churn. Column 2. The thought. What did I automatically think? Next, you write down the first thought that automatically popped into your head in response to that trigger. Don't try to filter it, rationalize it, or make it sound better. Just be completely honest with yourself. These automatic thoughts often sound dramatic, overly negative, or even a bit irrational. That's perfectly okay. The whole point here is simply to see them clearly, to bring them out of the shadows of your mind and onto paper. Column 3. The challenge. Is it actually true? What's the evidence? This is where you step back and become that curious, calm detective. In this column, you challenge the thought you just wrote down. Ask yourself, what proof do I really have that this thought is true? And just as important, what evidence is there against it? Consider alternative explanations for the situation. This column actively invites logic and rational thinking into a mental space, usually ruled by raw emotion. It's a way to de-escalate the emotional intensity and find a more balanced perspective. Let's walk through a practical example to see the 3-column technique in action and understand just how powerful it can be for breaking the overthinking cycle. Imagine this scenario. 1. The trigger. You find out you weren't invited out with your usual group of friends. This is the simple, observable event that happened. 2. The thought. Immediately your mind jumps to an automatic negative thought. They must not like me anymore. This is that quick, unfiltered assumption, the ANTs we talked about. 3. The challenge. Now, you put on your detective hat and challenge that thought. You might write something like, "Actually, they've invited me plenty of times before. Maybe this was a really spontaneous plan. Or perhaps they genuinely thought I was busy tonight. I'll just send a quick text to one of them to check in, rather than assuming the worst." See how that works? Writing it down literally slows down the emotional spiral. It creates much-needed space between you and your automatic thoughts. Instead of being completely swept away by the dramatic story your mind is creating, you become the observer. You step back and regain perspective, allowing logic to enter the conversation. This isn't about forcing yourself to feel positive. It's about seeing your thoughts more clearly and realistically. And that clarity is the very beginning of freedom from overthinking. Not by silencing your mind entirely, but by understanding it better and choosing how to respond. It's a truly empowering shift. If this video is helping you see your mind more clearly, consider hitting the like button. It helps the channel and gets this message to others who need it. Overthinking can feel deceptively productive, can't it? It gives us this illusion of control, as if endlessly running through every single scenario in our head will somehow prepare us for the worst or help us solve complex problems. We tell ourselves we're being thorough or even proactive, but in reality, we're often just reinforcing the very anxieties we're trying to escape. The more we replay a situation, the more power we inadvertently give to our worries, and the further we drift from any real clarity or effective solutions. This is exactly what Beck, the founder of cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), sought to illuminate. He brilliantly showed that most of our emotional suffering isn't actually caused by the world itself or by external events. Instead, it's caused by the specific lens through which we interpret that world. When you blindly believe every automatic thought that pops into your head, without question, without stepping back, you essentially let your mind narrate your entire life with a script that's primarily shaped by fear, insecurity, and distortion. It's like living inside a movie where the director is constantly whispering negative possibilities. But here's where things begin to profoundly shift. The moment you recognize a thought as just a thought, you immediately loosen its grip. You no longer react to it as if it's an undeniable, absolute truth that must be obeyed or feared. That seemingly small moment of awareness creates immense space to breathe, to reflect, and to choose how you want to respond, rather than just reacting impulsively. Think about it like this. If your mind is a radio station, overthinking is that annoying static, stuck on a loop. It keeps playing the same distressing noise, making you hope something meaningful will eventually come through, but it rarely does. Beck, through his work, handed us the dial. He taught us that we have the power to change the station, to tune into something clearer and more helpful. His words are simple, but incredibly powerful. You don't have to believe everything you think. And once you truly grasp that profound insight, something fundamental shifts within you. You stop fighting every anxious thought that arises, and instead, you start watching them come and go, much like simply observing clouds passing across the sky. In the end, escaping the trap of overthinking isn't about trying to silence your mind completely. It's about learning to relate to it differently, fostering a new, healthier relationship with your own thoughts. It's not the thoughts themselves that define you. It's what you choose to do with them, how you engage with them. That crucial distinction, that conscious choice, is where true freedom from the overthinking trap begins. Beck wasn't trying to teach us how to shut off our thoughts, nor was he advocating for a blank mind or the suppression of emotion. What he offered was something far more practical and profoundly powerful. He wanted us to train our minds. His goal was for us to treat our thoughts not as unbreakable commands, but as mental events we can observe, question, and ultimately reshape. The goal isn't to stop thinking altogether. That's neither realistic nor healthy. Our incredible ability to think is what makes us human. It's how we plan, reflect, and create. But the real danger lies in how we think. If we don't learn to recognize the automatic, often unhelpful patterns shaping our inner dialogue, our minds can easily become echo chambers for fear, self-doubt, and imagined catastrophes, keeping us trapped in a cycle of overthinking. This is where Beck's legacy truly shines. He showed us that better thinking isn't simply about being more positive, it's about being more accurate, more grounded, and more curious. And it all begins with one simple, but truly life-changing habit: questioning your thoughts. When something unsettling crosses your mind, just pause. Don't immediately believe it as absolute truth. Instead, ask yourself, is this thought truly helpful? Is it entirely true? What else might be going on here that I'm not considering? That small pause can dramatically shift your entire emotional state and influence your subsequent behavior. Over time, This consistent practice becomes a kind of quiet mental strength. You'll find yourself becoming less reactive, more present in the moment, and more aligned with reality, not the distorted version anxiety often tries to sell you. So no, you don't need to silence your mind. You just need to meet it with honesty, curiosity, and compassion. And that's precisely how you begin to escape the trap of overthinking. Not by doing less thinking, but by learning to do it much better. If this video helped you see your thoughts a little more clearly, and you're ready to explore even deeper layers of the mind, don't stop here. Our next video, Jung's Shadow Work and Anxiety, dives into how the parts of yourself you often avoid, especially that harsh inner critic, might actually hold the key to growth and healing. It's a powerful next step in understanding why we think, feel, and react the way we do, building on the foundation we've established today. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Each week, we break down timeless insights from the world's greatest psychological thinkers, from Carl Jung to Beck, and make them practical for everyday life. Whether you're navigating anxiety, self-doubt, or just trying to understand your mind better, this space is truly for you. We aim to provide clear, actionable strategies to help you on your path to mental clarity and well-being. Now, I want to hear directly from you. What's one thought you're ready to stop believing? Maybe it's something that's held you back for years, a persistent whisper of doubt. Perhaps it's subtle, but always there, like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never change. Whatever it is, take a moment to name it. Put it in the comments below. Saying it out loud, even digitally, is a powerful first step toward releasing its grip and diminishing its power over you. Don't be shy. Your personal breakthrough might just be the inspiration someone else needs to find theirs. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, ready to explore more transformative psychological insights together.